another episode of Ask Jade. So today I am going to go over advertising and laws that cover advertising within your business. So this is generally your deceptive advertising practices, unfair advertising, things to kind of look out for. So, you can't go out there and just make kind of unproven claims about your product, but you can certainly subjectively boast about it if you'd like to. You can say you have the best tasting coffee, but you can't say that everyone who's ever had a drink of your coffee absolutely loves it. We'll see the little bit of difference there. So that's what you kind of have to watch out for. This is regulated federally and state. So the Federal Trade Commission, they have regulations on this, but then there's also consumer protection agencies within your state that regulate this. So the FTC, they watch out for things being deceptive. They want you to have evidence to back up any claims that you make, and they just don't want your ads to be unfair. So there's an actual law called the Lanham Act, and it really kind of goes with trademarking, trademarks, things like that along those lines. But it also allows businesses, such as your competitors, to privately sue you or your advertiser for false advertising. So that's something to watch out for. If you've made any kind of false claim about your product, it might be deceptive to a certain population. There was a certain part about your product that was left out that maybe should have been left in there. Little things like that, they can bring under the Lanham Act. So you want to make sure you're not doing deceptive pricing. If you're having a sale, make sure it's actually a sale, not the regular price. If you are advertising about a certain special, make sure you have enough of that product in stock to meet reasonable demand. So that's something you want to make sure, if you don't, make sure you clearly state that you have limited quantities of that. Also, don't knock your competition unless it's factually accurate. So you can, go after your competition a little bit, just make sure it's on point, you know what you're talking about. Also, testimonials. We all love to get those. Reviews are important. And if you ever use, kind of like a local celebrity, things like that, completely fine. But you just want to make sure what they're saying is true. And if you are paying an endorser, make sure that's disclosed. Unless it's a celebrity, you don't have to disclose it. In that case, people assume that you're paying them. And then just one big thing specific to Illinois is that Illinois has a Consumer Fraud and Deceptive Practices Act. And this is pretty broad coverage for consumers, and it has civil and criminal liability. Even if you are in good faith making representations about your product or service, and it turns out to be false, you could be liable under this act. So you've got to make sure that what you're saying, you know what you're talking about, and that it's true. This law is in place just to protect consumers, just like you and me, and then it goes the other way when we're business owners. So some little things keep in mind when advertising your product or service. And as always, please reach out to me with any questions.